Once again, a couple cars going over the scales, making sure their weight's okay. Coming out next for the hot laps will be the high caliber graphic junior sprints making their way out onto the racetrack. 9 entries out of this class tonight. As leading them out is going to be the 10M of Madison Meany from Terre Haute, Indiana. Second car out is going to be the 14 of Tucker Cone from Benton, Kentucky. Another car out there is going to be the 1Z of Xander LaRose from Festus, Missouri. Also out there you'll find the 99 of Brayson Hellman from Greenup, Illinois, as the first high caliber graphic junior sprint hot laps is coming around to the green. Also out there is the one of Riker Tops from Alexis, Illinois. The field's coming around taking their first time to laps. As the white flag's in the air, a couple guys keeping it right down there on the bottom of the racetrack. A couple guys taking a little bit of a wider entry, so track unknown for these junior sprint drivers tonight as they come around to the checkered flag. See if anybody can put down a good lap time. And it looks like Riker Tops will be quick time for the high caliber graphic junior sprints with a 12.438. Then it'll be Madison Meany, Xander LaRose, the top 3. Madison Meany separated by less than 100th of a second behind Riker Tops, and then it's a distant 0.3 to Xander LaRose. And airing the racetrack down is going to be the second group of the high caliber graphic junior sprints. Leading them out is going to be the J16 of Jasper Hellman from Ashmore, Illinois. Behind him will be the 16 of Cason Hatsville from Greenup, Illinois. Another car out there will be the 88A of A.J. Williams from Harristown, Illinois, as they come around to the green flag. And last car out there will be the 22 of Evan Franz from Lovington, Illinois. So the next group out is going to be the Strong Odour A-Class Wings for their hot laps. 10 entries out of the Strong Odour A-Class Wing tonight. And leading them out is going to be the 95M of Noah Mell from Farland, Illinois. Also entering the racetrack will be the 46 of Blaine Mabry from Benton, Illinois. Also out there is going to be the 3E of Bodie Everett from Litchfield, Illinois. Joined along with the 4X of Brian Martinelli from Bloomsdale, Missouri. Green flags in the air for the first group of the Strong Odour A-Class Wing hot laps, as the the fifth and final car out there will be the 359 of Drake Sandiland from Alexis, Illinois. And Fields coming around right away to the white flag, seeing who's going to be the fastest out of group number 1. Looks like Blaine Mayberry in that 46 has got a really good race car tonight. Noah Mel also pretty good out there as well, right along with Blaine. Not quite have quick time here in session number 1. Instead, it'll go to Noah Mel with a 10.263. Blaine Mayberry second, Bodie Everett third. Coming out now will be a second group for the Strong Invader A-Class Wings. Leading them out will be the 11. It's labeled as the 11R, but it looks like it's the 11H on our scoring monitors. Harrison Earlbarge from Dardine Prairie, Missouri. Leading the second group out. Behind him will be the 21V of Danny Vicino from Terre Haute, Indiana. Also out there is going to be the AJ of JJ Williams from Harristown, Illinois, along with the 07C of Audrey Cowden from Terre Haute, Indiana. Make up Group 2 of the Strong Invader A-Class Wing Hot Laps. And this will also be their heat race later on tonight. Looks like one car did not make it out onto the racetrack, and that would be the 88T of Tyler Taylor from Danville, Illinois. So 9 of the 10 entries taken times, it looks like, here in the Strong Invader A-Class Wing Hot Lap session. And with that, green flags in the air on the second Strong Invader A-Class Wing Hot Lap session. And we'll see if anybody has anything for Noah Mel so far. As they come around to complete lap number 1. Doesn't look like it. White flags in the air, though. Let's see if anybody can break into the top 5. Yes, they can. J.J. Williams to the top of the charts. As Field comes around to the checkered flag this time, taking a very nice entry. That number 8J is nice and smooth. That number 8J of J.J. Williams, quick time by over a tenth over second place Noah Mel and Blaine Mayberry in the Strong Elevator A-Class Wing Hot Laps. So coming up next will be the Patriot Landscaping Restricted Micros for their hot laps. It looks like we're going to have 2 groups of 6. So 12 entries for the Patriot Landscaping Restricted Micros as they roll out onto the racetrack. They'll be led by the 71M of Lydia May from Terre Haute, Indiana. Second car out there is going to be the 14 of Niles Tudor from Harrisburg, Illinois. Third car out is going to be the 36 of Landon Miner from House Springs, Missouri as they come around to the green flag on their hot lap session. Also out there will be the 22W of Liam Warren from Highland, Illinois, along with the 14E of Emerson Kinzer from Arlington, Illinois. And it looks like that last car out there is going to be the 79H of Kinzer Holloway from Ashmore, Illinois. As the field comes around to the checkered flag, Landon Miner's got a really fast car tonight. 2 tenths clear of the field here in the first session. As the checkered flag falls, Landon Miner will take quick time here in the first Patriot Landscaping Restricted Micro Hot Laps. Second goes to Lydia May. Third goes to Liam Warren. And it looks like Landon Miner and Emerson Kinzer are going to go over the scales, make sure that their cars meet the minimum weight requirements. And out onto the racetrack now comes the second group of the Patriot Landscaping Restricted Micros. Leading them out, it's going to be the 10M of Mackenzie Meany from Terre Haute, Indiana. Second car out is going to be the 14R of River Cone from Benton, Kentucky. Also out there is going to be the 1K of Mackenzie Dowler from Springfield, Illinois. Rolling through turn 2, going to be the points leader, Tanner Triplett in the 22 from Lincoln, Illinois. Also out there we'll find the 17 of Cole Jones from Streeter, Illinois as they come around to the green flag. And the last car out there will be the 22D of Dalton Clary from Marine, Illinois, making a quick move on Cole Jones as they make their way back down to turn 1. As field comes around right away to the white flag. See if anybody breaks into the top 5. Doesn't look like it. Well, Mackenzie Meany breaks into the top 5. Tanner Triplett goes third. See if he's going to have anything on the second lap as they come around to the checkered flag. Dalton Clary second. And leading this group again, see if anybody can knock off Landon Minor as they come around to the checkered flag. Field makes their way back down to turn 1. No, it doesn't look like it. Landon Minor will take quick time for the Patriot Landscaping Restricted Micro Hot Laps. Dalton Clary second, Tanner Triplett third. A lot of fast race cars out of this second group. 3 of them will break into the top 5 overall. And being pushed out onto the racing surface right now will be the Mara Midgets for their hot lap and qualifying session. First lap being pushed out will be the 40 of Jay Sparks from Crystal Lake, Illinois. Looks like behind him they'll slot the 19E of Dalton England from Springfield, Illinois, along with the 20H of Ruben Haslett from Lexington, Illinois. Also, there will be the 11K of Charles Coons from Springfield, Illinois. Also on the racetrack, the 71H of Michael Hermansky from Creve Coeur, Illinois. Also out there will be the 70 of Alex Midkiff from Belleville, Illinois. As everybody's going to go and start getting their cars fired. And of course, these cars needing a push start. And we'll take a few laps to let these drivers build some engine heat before we can unleash them for their hot lap and qualifying combined session. 13 entries for the Mara Midgets tonight. Going to have 2 sessions of qualifying for them. And it looks like the 70 of Alex Midkiff having a little bit of an issue getting that car fired. So he got pushed all the way around the track. Could not get that number 70 machine fired. He stopped over there in turn 4. The 19E Dalton England is going to go and get his car fired as well as the field comes around him on the front stretch. Track crew still working on getting that number 70 fired. Looking like no such luck for Alex Midkiff. And it looks like he will finally get that car fired after almost 2 laps. And we're going to see if that number 70 of Alex Midkiff can stay fired. And it looks like not quite. That car going to come to a stop once again over in turn 4. And it looks like track crew's going to give him one more shot to get Alex Midkiff's car fired. And Alex Midkiff will get his car refired again over there in turn 3 and 4. And it looks like that car might be able to stay fired, maybe not, signaling down to the track crew again, it looks like. And you have Alex Midkiff going to a stop again over in turn 2. So tough break for Alex so far tonight. As we know, Alex Midkiff, pretty good driver around here at Coles County. Had himself a number of D2 midget wins and a couple vintage sprint car wins here as well at the historic Coles County Speedway.
Alex Midkiff will get refired once again. He's going to see if he can try to keep that car fired as he rolls through turns 3 and 4. And it looks like he's losing pace once again. He's desperately trying to keep that car running. And Alex once again losing pace as he makes his way back down to turns 3 and 4. That car once again slow to a complete stop. As once again track crew going to try and get the car fired once again. He might actually head back towards the pit area. It looks like he's climbing from that race car as he's trying to diagnose whatever might be wrong with that number 70 machine, as he cannot keep that car fired. And it looks like now he's going to try to push that car back around. It looks like with some assistance to the track workers, Alex is going to pull his car down to the infield, and unfortunately he will not take a qualifying time, so he'll have to start from the tail of his heat race. And now looking for a thumbs up as our flagman John Shipman. Once again asking the drivers if they think their cars are ready to go qualifying. And it looks like they have given it, as it looks like Jay Sparks is going to be the control car in that number 40 as he rolls through turns 3 and 4. It looks like they might sit him around one more time as our flagman John Shipman asking which one is the control car for the qualifying session. Our flagman John Shipman going to start waving them through as they come back through turns 3 and 4. Jay Sparks going to lead the field to green here in the Mara qualifying. Down to turn 1. Of course, last time Jay Sparks had himself a very good race here. Got taken out on the white flag lap going down to turn 1 by his lapped car. And he's looking for tonight to not have disaster strike again as they roll back through turns 1 and 2. Jay Sparks will look to have quick time here in qualifying. He's got a really good race car, just like he did last time he was here with the Mara Midgets. White flags in the air here in the first qualifying session. Of course, Alex Midkiff, the only car not taking a time. White flags in the air. No one close to that number 40 at Jay Sparks so far. Checkered flags in the air. Sparks improves again. Has extended his gap out to 2/10 as the rest of the field comes across to the checkered flag. Jay Sparks, quick time so far for the Mara Midget qualifying session with a 10.514. Charles Kuhn second, Dalton England third. Oh, an unfortunate issue there for Jay Sparks. That car's smoking over in turn 3. As it looks like disaster striking again for that number 40 machine here at Coles County Speedway. So track crew is going to push around the 19 of Dalton England and the 40 of Jay Sparks so they can get back to the pit area.
Yeah, looks like Jay Sparks wanting to go over the scales. Make sure his car meets minimum weight before they can try to diagnose the issue on the engine, it looks like. So this second group of our minutes should be made up around 7 cars. 6 cars did hit the racetrack. Alex Midkiff, of course, not taking a time in that first session. Andy Bond from Mason City, Illinois, in that 000. His first car rolled out onto the racetrack. Behind him will be the 12C, Dominic Bruns from Champaign, Illinois. Excuse me, that's Patrick Bruns from Champaign, Illinois, in the 12D. Behind him is Dominic Bruns in the 12C. Up on the top side off the exit of turn 4. Also out there's a 23 of Patrick Ryan from Springfield, Illinois. Along with 18 of Tyler Roth, also from Springfield, Illinois. And it looks like the final car that's going to be pushed out on the racetrack is going to be the 36 of Chris Bow from Indianapolis, Indiana. See him back there on the track entrance over in turn 4. Also out there, the 21G of Jimmy Goudry from Rockport, Indiana. And of course, just like in the last session, going to give these drivers a few laps to build engine heat, as these cars do require to be push started before they can make sure that their cars will be okay to run in their qualifying session. Chris Bow being the last car to be fired down here on the front stretch. And it looks like he will get his engine started as he makes his way back through turns 1 and 2. Looks like an issue of some sort for the 21G. Jimmy Goudry. So he pulls down to the infield. And it looks like he's talking to the track crew, trying to diagnose whatever issue is going on for that number 21G machine from Rockport, Indiana. Coles County Speedway did put up an additional $250 award if the driver who won last night's event at Jacksonville Speedway for the Mara Midgets could win tonight. Last night's winner went from 10th to 1st, and his name was Parker Jones, not on the entry list tonight here at Coles County Speedway. So Parker Jones unable to compete for an additional $250 payday for sweeping the weekend for Mara Midgets. So it looks like they're going to try to get that number 21G, Jimmy Goudry, to get refired. As he rolls his car back out onto the front stretch. And he gets his car fired right away and rejoins the second group for the Mara Midget qualifying sessions. Race control asking these drivers to give each other a little bit of room. Has got a pretty decent sized pack of cars. Rolling off turn 4. It looks like they will be creating just enough space as they make their way back down the front stretch. Control car is going to be the 18 of Tyler Roth as he makes his way back down through turns 1 and 2. And we'll see if anybody has anything for Jay Sparks here in qualifying for the Mara Midgets tonight. As the 18 of Tyler Ross going to roll through turns 3 and 4 and around to the green flag on the second Badger Mara qualifying session as they make their way back down through turns 1 and 2. Everybody going about the middle part of the racetrack on entry. Cars really look like they're biting and want to go right down to the berm as they make their way through turns 1 and 2. Jimmy Guthrie coming to a stop once again in the infield, unable to complete a single lap. Well, it did score a lap for Jimmy. It's well off pace, well over 6 seconds off pace. White flags in the air. Chris Bow is right there with Jay Sparks. Tyler Ross is there as well. Patrick Bruns also making his way up to 4th. See if anybody can. Patrick Bruns will knock off the 40 of Jay Sparks. And before it's all over, this is a checker flag fall. Seeing if anybody can improve once more. Maybe not. Tyler Ross takes quick time on the Mara qualifying. Patrick Bruns second. Jay Sparks, who was fastest in Group 1, will wind up 3rd at the conclusion of Group 2. And with that, that will conclude hot laps and qualifying session here at Coles County Speedway tonight. A couple cars headed over the scales just before the start of the heat races. Of course, making sure their minimum weight is okay. So with that concluding the hot lap session, heat races are coming up shortly. But at this time, we would ask, if able, if you could please rise for the playing of our national anthem. Track crew making a couple laps out here on the racetrack just prior to the heat races. Make sure the track is packed in nice after the Mara Midgets made their qualifying session. And of course, during the short breaks, don't forget to visit our concession stand down on the north side of the facility off the turn 4. They have some fantastic food and drinks down there. Have a new flavor of Victory Fuel as well. So make sure you check that out at some point tonight. It looks like track crew is just about done. It looks like they're focusing their efforts on a spot over in turn 3. It looks like they're just about done packing the track in over there. It looks like we're just about ready to go racing here, starting off with Division 1 Composite non-wing micro pair of heat races. All heat races tonight will be 8 laps in length, with the features being 20 laps in length, except for the juniors who will run 15. And it looks like the Division 1 Composite non-wing micros are ready to head out onto the racetrack for heat race number 1. Starting on the pole is going to be Chevy Boyer in the 25B from New Haven, Missouri. Starting alongside him will be Trey Erdman from Coal Valley, Illinois in the 69T. Starting inside row 2 will be Seth Buell from Charleston, Illinois in the 1X, with Cameron Romack from Ashmore, Illinois in the 4R starting in 4th. Drew Sherman from Phoenix, Arizona in the 3-car starts 5th, and Andrew Morgan from Greencastle, Indiana in the 18M will round out the field in the 6th starting position. The first Division 1 Composite non-wing micro heat race is on the racetrack now as they come around and receive the 1-to-go signal right away. So they're going to head green as they come back around with the caution lights extinguished. Once again, it's Chevy Boyer, Trey Erdman on the front row for the first heat race of the night. And heat race number 1 for the Division 1 Composite non-wing micros is green right away, side by side, down to turn 1. Little bit of contact made between the front row. Chevy Boyer holds on to his advantage as they come around and complete lap number 1. Trey Erdman falls back to 3rd. Seth Buell got a pretty good race car himself tonight, looking on the inside of Chevy Boyer and doesn't have it there, backs out of it going down to turn 1 and 2. And he really woes it up getting down there to turn 3. That allows Erdman right to the rear bumper. Buell now trying to stay attached to Chevy Boyer out in front of him, trying to defend from Trey Erdman behind him. And here comes Drew Sherman to the inside of Trey Erdman. Backs out of it by the time they get off turn number 4. But Drew Sherman, who started in 5th, got quickly past Cameron Romack as they come around and complete lap number 4. So he's looking once again to the inside for the 3rd spot, has to back out of it again. He's really trying to back up his entry. Really sends it in that time now. That number 3 machine, Drew Sherman, in the 4th spot, looking for 3rd on Trey Erdman as they make their way back into turns 3 and 4. Chevy Boyer going to lead the field to complete lap number 6. As Chevy Boyer making his way back through turns 3 and 4 with about a second advantage. He'll take the white flag this time in the first Division 1 Composite non-wing micro heat race. Drew Sherman still looking to the inside of Trey Erdman for 3rd. He's got to take a big shot down here in turns 3 and 4, but checkered flags in the air for Chevy Boyer, who wins the first Division 1 Composite non-wing micro heat race. Seth Buell will finish in 2nd, Trey Erdman 3rd, Drew Sherman 4th, Cameron Romack 5th, and Andrew Morgan will finish in 6th. Top three going to head over the scales, it looks like. Well, maybe not entirely of the top three. Seth Buell went back towards the pit area right away. Looks like first, third, and fourth headed over the scales. Chevy Boyer getting his picture taken on his Vision 1 Composite Non-Wing Micro Heat Race win by, once again, SRL Media and Designs. Find their pictures on the Coles County Speedway Facebook page. As looks like the rest of them go over the scales with no issues. So they'll make their way off the racetrack, which will allow for the second Division 1 Composite Non-Wing Micro Heat Race to come onto the racetrack. And starting on the pole will be the 7F of Nolan Bartley from Hammond, Illinois. Alongside him, you'll find the 47C of Clay Frederick from St. Joseph, Illinois. Starting third will be the 6 of Clayton Apple from Oakland, Illinois. And starting fourth will be Billy Lieb in the 88 from Hammond, Illinois. Starting fifth will be the 12 of Dawson Wright from Terre Haute, Indiana, who rounds out the second Division 1 Composite Non-Wing Micro Heat Race field. So once again, caution lights extinguish as the field receives the one-to-go signal as soon as they enter the racetrack. As once again, it's Nolan Bartley, Clay Frederick making up the front row as they make their way to the start cone. Green flags in the air on the second Division 1 Composite Non-Wing Micro Heat Race. A lot of contact made going down to one. Billy Lieb gets into the back of Clay Frederick. Billy Lieb loses a ton of time. Now he's going to have to go around the outside of Dawson Wright, fighting his way back around the top side. Well, right about the middle of the racetrack. That car looks really good up on the middle part of the racetrack. So he'll easily get past the 12 of Dawson Wright and reclaim his fourth place spot. Out in front, Clayton Apple makes some contact with the race leader, Nolan Bartley, and Clayton Apple goes around entering turn one, bringing out the first caution of the second Division 1 Composite Non-Wing Micro Heat Race. Looks like Billy Lee may have also caught a piece of it, that car coming to a stop over in turn two. And he's trying to get his car refired. And it looks like he just about will be. So Clayton Apple and Clayton Apple and Billy Lieb going to tag back in at the tail of the field. As the one-to-go signal given, as Clayton Apple's going to have Billy Lieb go on by. Sure, everybody's back into their correct restarting position. Nolan Bartley, Clay Frederick, Dawson Wright, the top three on the restart. And we're back green on the second Division 1 Composite Non-Wing Micro Heat Race, still 7 to go. As the field charges back around to turns 1 and 2. Billy Lieb on the outside of Dawson Wright once again as they make their way back down into turns 3 and 4. Billy Lieb fighting on the outside, 3 wide off turn 4. Billy Lieb going to take the third spot away. Clayton Apple to the inside now of Dawson Wright. He gets up on the berm a little bit. No harm, no foul, as long as they get 2 tires up there and completes the pass. As Clayton Apple now gets right on by Dawson Wright. Dawson Wright fights back to the bottom of the racetrack for the 4th spot. Dawson Wright cannot hold on to it. Clayton Apple clear for 4th. Out in front still, that number 7F of Nolan Bartley's got himself a 7/10 of a second advantage over second place Clay Frederick. And he really going to be thinking about where does he want to take this move. He likes the bottom here as they make their way back down to turns 1 and 2. But Billy Lieb going to fight right back to the inside. Going to be alongside back down into turns 3 and 4. Nolan Bartley takes the second Division 1 Composite Non-Wing Micro Heat Race win. Billy Lieb steals second on the last lap. Clay Frederick falls to 3rd. Clayton Apple 4th. Dawson Wright will finish in 5th. And that will do it for the Division 1 Composite Non-Wing Micro Heat Races. Coming up next is going to be the K1 Race Gear Outlaw Wing Heat Race. Only one heat race for this class tonight as there's only 7 entries. As it looks like Dawson Wright's car come to a stop in the infield. Trying to get some assistance from the track crew to diagnose an issue of some sort on that number 12 machine. Yeah, it looks like he might need some help being pushed back towards the pit area. So Dawson Wright going to be pushed back towards the pit area, which will allow the K1 Race Gear Outlaw Wings to take their way out onto the racetrack for their heat race tonight. Starting on the pole will be the 00 of Brendan Healy from Marshall, Illinois. Starting in second will be Tyler Schur from Sherrod, Illinois in the 03. Starting in third will be the 25 of Tyler Grafton from Springfield, Illinois. Starting fourth will be Caleb Sutherland from Mattoon, Illinois in the 64. Starting fifth will be the 0 Lucas Easton from Tuscola, Illinois. Starting sixth will be Brian Martinelli in the 4X from Bloomsdale, Missouri. And rounding out the field in the seventh starting position in the 10B of Brendan Pfeiffer from Livingston, Illinois. As the field comes around to the start cone over in turns 3 and 4, once again, Brendan Healy, Tyler Schur will make up the front row. To the start cone they come, and green flags in the air on the K1 Race Gear Outlaw Wing Heat Race. Tyler Schur's car looks really loose as he makes his way down through turns 1 and 2. An issue for race leader Brendan Healy, slow as he comes through turns 3 and 4. The caution's going to come out before they complete one lap, and Healy heads right back towards the pit area right away. So we'll head for a double file restart since the caution came out just before the field could complete a lap. As I can see, Brendan Healy's car stopped just past the track entrance. It looks like he might need a little bit of assistance getting back to his pit area. With that, they will go to a double file restart. Tyler Grafton will be promoted to the front row. So it'll be inside lane moves up a single row as Brendan Healy brings out the first caution on the K1 Race Gear Outlaw Wing Heat Race. As the rest of the field will fall back in line. And with that 1 to go signal given, and the new front row will be Tyler Grafton and Ty Schur as they make their way back to the restart cone over in turn 4. And we're back green on the K1 Race Gear Outlaw Wing Heat Race. The field makes their way down to turns 1 and 2. A little bit more organized this time. Brendan Pfeiffer making a little bit of contact with Caleb Sutherland as he makes his way through turns 1 and 2. But coming off turn 4, leading lap number 1 will be the 03 of Ty Schur. And now the rest of the field single files out, a couple car lengths between each car. Second place, Tyler Grafton looks to be clawing back a little bit of time on Ty Schur as Ty Schur goes to the middle group of the racetrack. They look about equal as they make their way back off turn number 4. Ty Schur will just about extend his race lead by about a tenth over Tyler Grafton. Caleb Sutherland hanging right there with the front two in the third spot. Caleb Sutherland, definitely the fastest car on the racetrack, just can't quite figure out a way to get around Tyler Grafton, as it looks like Tyler Grafton might be a little bit of the dirty air of Ty Schur's car out in front of him. And now Caleb Sutherland is going to get backed up to him as well. Battle for fifth ongoing between Brian Martinelli and Lucas Easton as the field comes around to 2 to go. And Ty Schur coming off turn 4 and collecting the white flag this time on the K1 Race Gear Outlaw Wing Heat Race. Still that battle for fifth ongoing, but off turn 4, it's Ty Schur taking the K1 Race Gear Outlaw Wing Heat Race. In second place, it will be Tyler Grafton. Third will go to Caleb Sutherland. Fourth, Brendan Pfeiffer. Fifth, Brian Martinelli. 6th, Lucas Easton. And 7th was the only non-finisher, which was Brendan Healy. So that does it for the K1 Race Gear Outlaw Wings for their one and only heat race. Next is going to be the High Caliber Graphic Junior Sprints for their pair of heat races. Ty Scher getting his picture taken down there in the infield, and he'll make his way back towards the pit area. And coming up will be the High Caliber Graphic Junior Sprint Heat Race 1. Bryson Hellman in the 99 from Greenup, Illinois is going to lead the field to green. Alongside him will be Riker Top from Alexis, Illinois in the 1. Tucker Cohn in the 14 from Benton, Kentucky starts third. Madison Meany from Terre Haute, Indiana in the 10M will start in fourth. And Xander LaRose in the 1Z from Festus, Missouri will start out in the fifth and final starting position for the High Caliber Graphic Junior Sprint Heat Race number 1. Caution lights extinguished for the junior sprints as they make their way towards the start cone over in turn number 4. It's again Bryson Hillman, Riker tops the front row as they make their way to that start cone. Green flags in the air on the High Caliber Graphic Junior Sprint Heat Race 1. Hellman going to drop all the way back to the tail of the field. Not quite. Xander LaRose going to have to go around the outside as they come off turn 2. Over exiting turn 4 will be the 1 of Riker Tops leading lap number 1 of the first High Caliber Graphic Junior Sprint Heat Race. Madison Meany right in tow behind Riker, about half a second back. And now Riker Tops extending that gap out a ton. Now going to be over a second over second place Madison Meany. Xander LaRose, though, quickly caught the 14 of Tucker Cohn in front of him. In the battle for third, Xander LaRose looking to the inside off turn 4. Not quite going to be alongside. Has to back out of it going down to turn 1. Riker Tops continuing to extend that lead over Madison Meany as that battle for third continuing to go on. Tucker Cohn still holding on to that third spot for now as they make their way back down through turns 1 and 2. Xander LaRose can't quite get enough of the car alongside off turn 4. And tries it again. Doesn't even get alongside this time. As Tucker Cohn continuing to hold on to that third spot. Now they're going to see if they're going to use the lap traffic as a pick as they come around to 2 to go this time. Xander LaRose to the inside of Hellman. That probably wasn't the move for Xander LaRose. Gets up on the berm. He'll keep it going in the right direction. We stay green. White flags in the air for Riker Tops as he makes his way back down to turns 1 and 2. Got a 2-second advantage over second place Madison Meany. Still, Tucker Cohn holding on to third as off turn 4. It's that one car. Riker Tops taking the first High Caliber Graphic Junior Sprint Heat Race win. Madison Meany in second finishes a distant 3 seconds back. Tucker Cohn will finish in third, Xander LaRose fourth, and Bryson Hellman will finish in fifth. So with that concludes the first High Caliber Graphic Junior Sprint Heat Race. Second one's going to be led out by the J16 of Jasper Hellman from Ashmore, Illinois. Alongside Jasper will be A.J. Williams from Harristown, Illinois in the 88A. Starting in third, it will be the 16 of Case and Hatfield from Greenup, Illinois. And starting in fourth, will be the 22 of Evan France from Lovington, Illinois. The second High Caliber Graphic Junior Sprint Heat Race will collect the 1 to go signal, this time by as they come out. And they're going green right away, just like the first one did. Jasper Hellman, A.J. Williams leads the field to the start cone. Green flags in the air on the second High Caliber Graphic Junior Sprint Heat Race. A.J. Williams can't quite stay alongside as they get through down into turn 1, but he crosses over, and A.J. Williams to the point. As they come off of turn number 4, A.J. Williams leads lap number 1 on the second High Caliber Graphic Junior Sprint Heat Race. Jasper Hellman in line in second. Doesn't have quite as good of a race car as A.J. Williams does tonight. Out there in third, still it'll be Case and Hatfield and Evan France rounding out the field. Evan France quickly to the back bumper of Case and Hatfield as they make their way back into turns 3 and 4. On the outside will be the 22 of Evan France. Can't quite get alongside. That's a big run down the front stretch. Still can't quite get alongside that number 16. Now he's going to try to pull the crossover move for third. Not almost has to back out of it. Is that 22 of Evan France. As Evan France still trying to get around the 16 of Kaysen Hatfield. Going to go around the outside down to turn 1. Gets the move done as he comes off of turn number 2. Evan France through to third. And making his way back through turns 3 and 4 now is going to be the 88A of A.J. Williams. 2 to go for him on the high caliber graphic junior sprint heat race. Got about a 1.5 second advantage over Jasper Hellman behind him as he comes around to the white flag this time. Got a little bit of lap traffic in front of him. See if he decides to go around it. He's going to look to the outside of Kaysen Hatfield. Looks to the inside and makes a little bit of contact, but checkered flags in the air for A.J. Williams, who takes the second high caliber graphic junior sprint heat race. Jasper Hellman third. Evan France will come around and collect the checkered flag, finishing in third. And Kaysen Hatfield in the 16 will finish in fourth. And that will just about do it for the high caliber graphic junior sprint heat races. Coming up next will be the strong elevator A-class wing heat races. Got 2 of them tonight. Starting on the pole will be the 46 of Blaine Mayberry from Benton, Illinois. Starting alongside him will be Brian Martinelli in the 4X from Bloomsdale, Missouri. Starting in third will be Noah Mell in the 95M from Fairland, Indiana. Starting fourth in the 3E will be Bodie Everett from Litchfield, Illinois. And running out the field in the fifth and final starting spot will be Drake Standalin in the 359 from Alexis, Illinois, making up the first strong elevator A-class wing heat race. The caution lights are extinguished for this first strong elevator A-class wing heat race. Blaine Mayberry, Ryan Martinelli will bring the field to the start cone. Flagman, don't think he likes it, and he doesn't. We'll have to wave it off. We'll try it again. It looks like maybe that 46 of Blaine Mayberry went a little bit early. One car going for a spin. That'd be Brian Martinelli. Got hard on the brakes, went for a spin on the backstretch, and he should come back around to his second place starting spot. So the field will double back up as they come back through turns 3 and 4. Of course, Brian Martinelli making his way back to his second place starting spot. Warning issued to Blaine Mayberry. I believe may have actually been issued to Noah Mell. But the caution lights extinguish once again here on the first strong elevator A-class wing heat race, as Blaine Mayberry and Brian Martinelli will bring the field back to the start cone. Over in turn 4, has to wait on it. Green flag's back in the air, but our flagman didn't like it. But Blaine Mayberry gonna have to maybe get a talking to post-race by the officials. Bodie Everett getting up on the berm just a little bit, trying to keep his car headed in the right direction as Brian Martinelli drops all the way back to 5th off the start. Blaine Mayberry leads lap number 1, but Noah Mell is right there with him as they come around to complete lap number 2. Bodie Everett still holding on to third. Drake Standalin right there for third as well. Battle for the lead, battle for third. And it's about a second between second and third as here comes Standalin to the inside of Everett down to turn 1. Can't quite make the move stick. Had a really good run through turns 3 and 4. Got to the inside. Going to see if he can do it again over here in turn 4. Can't quite do it. 6 right in line behind Bodie Everett. Going to try the outside down to turn 1 and 2. Doesn't quite get enough momentum going, but he's going to have a big run down to turn 3. Drake Standalin to the inside. Maybe not quite. Bodie Everett taking very good defensive lines around this racetrack and holding on to that third place for now. Still Noah Mell trying to chase down race leader Blaine Mayberry as they come to 2 to go this time. Drake Standalin got to the inside of Everett again. Had to back out of it.
White flags in the air this time for race leader Blaine Mayberry. Noah Mel is about half a second back, not really going to have anything for him as they make their way back through turns 3 and 4 as checkered flags flying for Blaine Mayberry here in the first Strong Elevator A-Class Wing Heat Race. Noah Mel will finish in second, Bodie Everett third, Drake Stanley in fourth, and Brian Martinelli coming across the line in fifth. Coming up next, a second Strong Elevator A-Class Wing Heat Race. On the pole is going to be the 07C of Audrey Cowden from Terre Haute, Indiana. Alongside her will be Danny Vicino from Terre Haute, Indiana in the 21V. Starting in third will be J.J. Williams from Harristown, Illinois in the 8J. Starting in fourth will be Harrison Robards from Dardine Prairie, Missouri in the 11H. And starting in fifth will be the 88T of Tyler Taylor from Danville, Illinois. Didn't take any laps in hot laps earlier. And we'll see if Tyler Taylor's got himself a good race car tonight. Haven't seen anything for that number 88T so far. Looked like they wanted to give him the one to go next time when they came out, but has to wave it off. So the field comes around, one to go this time. And the caution lights will extinguish as the field makes their way down to turns 1 and 2. Once again, Audrey Cowden, Danny Vicino, the front row as the field makes their way off turn 2 and towards the start cone over in turn 4. And green flags in the air on the second Strong Elevator A-Class Wing Heat Race. Danny Vicino on the outside of Audrey Cowden takes it away off turn 2. And Audrey Cowden now stuck on the outside, going to start dropping back as Harrison Robards to the inside of Cowden. Cowden drops to fourth at the completion of lap number 1. Now Tyler Taylor going to make the move stick for fourth as Audrey Cowden drops to the tail of the field. Out in front, still that 21V of Danny Vicino completing the first 2 laps out in front. Right behind him, J.J. Williams, though, just 6/10 back, turning lap times about a 10th faster than race leader Danny Vicino. And now half a second separates the front 2 as AJ definitely chasing him down for the heat race lead as Harrison Robards, Tyler Taylor starting to battle for third out behind them. Now equal times for the front 2 runners. Danny Vicino holding on to half a second advantage as they come around to complete lap number 5. And Tyler Taylor's still about 4/10 of a second back off the rear bumper of Harrison Robards. Got a good run down there through turns 1 and 2. Gets a really good entry, just can't quite get the exit he wants off turn 2. Loses that ground as soon as he got it as Danny Vicino working through turns 3 and 4 this time. Collects the white flag here on the second Strong Elevator A-Class Wing Heat Race. Back down to turns 1 and 2. That car looks good down the back stretch. And through turns 3 and 4 for the final time, it'll be the 21V of Danny Vicino taking the second Strong Elevator A-Class Wing Heat Race. J.J. Williams will finish in second, Harrison Robards third, Tyler Taylor fourth, Audrey Cowden will finish in fifth. Going up next will be the Patriot Landscaping Restricted Micros for their heat races. 12 entries out of the Patriot Landscaping Restricted Micros equals 2 heat races. Starting on the pole for Patriot Landscaping Restricted Micro Heat Race number 1 will be Emerson Kinzer from Arlington, Illinois in the 14E. Alongside her will be the 14 and Niles Tudor from Harrisburg, Illinois. Starting in third will be Lydia May from Terre Haute, Indiana in the 71M. And starting in fourth will be Liam Warren from Highland, Illinois in the 22W. Starting in fifth will be Kinzer Halloway from Ashmore, Illinois in the 79H. And rounding out the field in the sixth and final starting spot will be the 36 of Landon Miner from House Springs, Missouri, as his drivers will make up the first Patriot Landscaping Restricted Micro Heat Race. They made their way out onto the racetrack. They're just about organized enough for the one-to-go signal to be given, as once again Emerson Kinzer, Niles Tudor are going to bring the field to the start cone over in turn 4. Green flags in the air on the first Patriot Landscaping Restricted Micro Heat Race. Lydia May right on the rear bumper of Emerson Kinzer in front of her as she's trying to make that move stick. As here comes Landon Miner from 6th to 4th through turns 1 and 2. Lydia May to the inside of Emerson Kinzer down to turns 1 and 2. Almost pulls that crossover move just well enough, and she just about will. Emerson Kinzer backs out of it as they come off turn 2. Now, see if Niles Tudor can stay in front of Lydia May. Lydia May won 3 times so far this year here at Coles County Speedway. And Lydia May looks like she's got herself a really good race car again tonight, but maybe a race car just better than her. Landon Miner through to 3rd, and he's going to be chasing down the front 2. Lydia May gets sideways in front of the field, and Lydia May has to rejoin back at the tail. The caution's going to come out here on the first Patriot Landscaping Restricted Micro Heat Race. So Lydia May will go to the tail of the field for the cause of caution. She did go up over the berm. The field comes around, collects the one to go signal right away. 2 laps in the books for the Patriot Landscaping Restricted Micros. Niles Tudor going to lead the field back to green. Behind him, Landon Miner and Liam Warren making up the top 3, as Niles Tudor going to go right down to the bottom of the racetrack at the restart cone. Green flags back in the air on the first Patriot Landscaping Restricted Micro Heat Race. Lydia May going to try to make moves once again right away on the 14E of Emerson Kinzer. Heavy contact. Lydia May goes up and over, barrels down the backstretch, and the red flags in the air. So track crew got to Lydia quickly as her car comes to a stop on all 4 tires over there in turn 3. And it sounds like the driver is okay. Let's give a round of applause for Lydia May. So hopefully her crew can get that car repaired, and we'll see her later tonight in the feature.
So Lydia May and her car will make the journey back to the pit area. A lot of damage to that number 71 M machine. And the track goes back to yellow flag conditions. Yeah, once again, only 2 laps still in the books. That red flag comes just at the restart. So once again, it'll be Niles Tudor who will be leading the field back to green. Looks like Emerson Kinzer will be restarting in second, Landon Miner third, Liam Warren fourth, and then Kinzer Halloway will be restarting in fifth. So caution lights extinguished once again for the first Patriot Landscaping Restricted Micro Heat Race. Niles Tudor going to bring the field back to the restart cone over in turn 4, down to the bottom of the racetrack, and he goes just before it. Green flags back in the air. Landon Miner makes that move right away around Emerson Kinzer. And now Emerson Kinzer going to try to hold on to that third spot, as here comes the 22 of Liam Warren. As out in front, Niles Tudor may not have anything for Landon Miner, as Landon Miner to the outside of the 14. Can't quite stay alongside as they come off of turn 4. Landon Miner back on the outside of Niles Tudor as they roll back through turns 1 and 2. Is able to stay alongside. Can't quite clear going into turn 3. But Landon Miner is going to be clear coming off turn 4. Landon Miner to the point here at the completion of lap number 5. And now Landon Miner comes around a 2 to go this time on the first Patriot Landscaping Restricted Micro Heat Race with an 1/8 of a second advantage over Niles Tudor. Liam Warren running it in third. As white flags in the air this time for Landon Miner as he makes his way back down to turns 1 and 2, really cutting off the entrance of the turns, taking the entry at about the middle part of the racetrack. Checkered flags in the air for Landon Miner, your Patriot Landscaping Restricted Micro Heat Race number 1 winner. Niles Tudor finishes 2 seconds back in second. Liam Warren third, Emerson Kinzer fourth, Kinzer Halloway fifth, and Lydia May was the nod finisher in sixth. Going up next will be the second Patriot Landscaping Restricted Micro Heat Race. And starting on the pole will be the 17 of Cole Jones from Streator, Illinois. Starting second will be River Cone from Benton, Kentucky in the 14R. Starting in third will be Mackenzie Dowler from Springfield, Illinois in the 1K. And starting in fourth will be Mackenzie Meany from Terre Haute, Indiana in the 10M. Starting inside row 3 will be Dalton Clary from Marine, Illinois in the 22D. And rounding out the second Patriot Landscaping Restricted Micro Heat Race field will be the 22 of Tanner Triplett from Lincoln, Illinois. Oh, looks like all 6 cars are able to make it out onto the racetrack, and the 1 to go signal is given. As once again, Cole Jones and River Cone will bring the field to the start cone over in turn 4. Green flags in the air on the second Patriot Landscaping Restricted Micro Heat Race. Cole Jones on the inside of River Cone through turns 1 and 2. Not enough. Dalton Clary almost goes for a spin, and he'll get stuck up on the berm, and the caution's going to fly. So we'll once again head back for a race restart. So Cole Jones to go to the inside, back to the lead, as track crew is going to work on getting Dalton Clary's car off the berm over in turn 2. As the field starts to double up as they make their way back down to turn 1. Track crew is still working on getting that 22D unstuck from the berm. And Dalton Clary will get that engine fired. He'll join back up at the tail end of the second Patriot Landscaping Restricted Micro Heat Race field. And the caution lights extinguished once again as Cole Jones and River Cone going to be leading the field back to the start cone once again over in turn 4 on a complete race restart. And through the start cone they go. Green flags back in the air on the Patriot Landscaping Restricted Micro Heat Race. This time River Cone going to be clear by the time they get down to turns 1 and 2. A little bit more organized this time is the rest of the field. And back down to turns 3 and 4. Tanner Triplett to the inside of Mackenzie Dowler for 4th. Can't quite make that move stick down at 3 and 4. Mackenzie Dowler still fighting on the outside. Can't quite keep up the fight though. And Tanner Triplett goes through for 4th. Now Dalton Cleary to the inside of Mackenzie Dowler down to turn 1. Little bit of contact. And Dalton Cleary gets sideways and loses some ground as he drops back into the 6th spot. And now a couple car lengths separate each car as River Cone extending his lead over Cole Jones. Now about a second advantage is that number 14R's lead. And then Mackenzie Meany running in third is about a half a second on Tanner Triplett, and then another half second to Mackenzie Dowler and Dalton Clary. As the field comes around, completes lap number 5. River Cone still extending that lead out, now well over a second over Cole Jones. Nobody really tracking down the car in front of them. Has 2 to go this time by 4. Race leader River Cone. Tanner Triplett called about a 10th back on Mackenzie Meany in front of him. White flags in the air for River Cone as Cone makes his way back down through turns 1 and 2. Looks good on the backstretch and into turns 3 and 4 for the final time. It's that 14R River Cone taking the Patriot Landscaping Heat Race number 2. Cole Jones finishes in 2nd, Mackenzie Meany 3rd, Tanner Triplett 4th, Mackenzie Dowler 5th, Dalton Clary 6th here on the 2nd Patriot Landscaping Restricted Micro Heat Race. River Cone deciding to go up over the scales. Make sure his car meets the minimum weight requirements, as he did win by almost 2 seconds over Cole Jones. And coming up next will be the Mara Midgets heat races. First heat race sponsored by Autometer here at Coles County Speedway. Jimmy Goudry in the 21G from Rockport, Indiana will start on the pole. Alongside him will be Michael Hermansky in the 71H from Creve Coeur, Illinois. Starting in third will be Patrick Ryan from Springfield, Illinois in the 23, and starting in fourth will be Dalton England also from Springfield, Illinois in the 19E. Starting in fifth will be Chris Bow from Indianapolis, Indiana in the 36, and starting in sixth will be Patrick Bruns from Champaign, Illinois in the 12D. So I just got word from Mara officials Jimmy Goudry headed to the tail. And that number 21G that'll promote Patrick Ryan in the 23 to the front row. Once again, as these cars get fired, gonna give them a few laps for building engine heat. As the field's gonna make their way up to the 23 of Patrick Ryan over in turn 2, who will be your race leader here on the Autometer Heat Race for the Midget Auto Racing Association's return to Coles County Speedway. So the field's coming around to 1 to go this time by. Caution lights will extinguish here on the Autometer Heat Race for the Mara Midgets. Once again, 8-lap heat race, front row being made up of Patrick Ryan and Michael Hermansky. after Jimmy Guthrie headed towards the tail of the field. And it looks like Patrick Ryan, Michael Hermansky is going to head to the restart cone. And green flags in the air on the Automator heat race as right away that 23 up to the top of the racetrack to black Michael Hermansky, as Patrick Ryan looks like he's got himself a pretty good race car. Going to try and stay ahead of Michael Hermansky as they make their way through turns 1 and 2 once again. Oh, big time trouble! And it will be that 23 of Patrick Ryan going over. It looks like he maybe hit a rut down there in turn 2. Cartwheeled once, lands on all fours, and red flags out. And it looks like Patrick Ryan out of that car quickly. So a tough break for Patrick Ryan down in turn 1. Will end his heat race early here in the Mara Racing Autometer Heat Race 1. It looks like also a tough break for Jimmy Guthrie, as it looks like he has his car pointed down towards the infield. Unsure if they're going to get that car refired or if he's going to head back towards the pit area himself. So red flag is lifted, yellow flag is displayed once again here at Coles County Speedway. And yeah, Jimmy Guthrie is headed back towards the pit area. Tough break for him as well. So 2 cars out at the completion of lap number 1 of the Autometer Heat Race for the Mara Midgets tonight. Patrick Ryan had the tough break going up and over in turn 1. And then Jimmy Guthrie with some sort of issue pulled down to the infield, and he's been pushed back to the pit area. And it sounds like race control are going to go back one lap. And they're going to head back for a race restart. So the new front row will be Michael Hermansky, Dalton England, and then Chris Bow, Patrick Bruns will make up row 2. And now the track crews getting the cars refired. As once again headed back for a race restart. Now with the front 2 cars on the inside line out. The new front row will be Michael Hermansky and Dalton England, and then row 2 will be made up of Chris Bow and Patrick Bruns. And the field will receive the 1-to-go signal this time. And the caution lights will extinguish as once again Michael Hermansky and Dalton England make up the front row. And then it'll be Chris Bow and Patrick Bruns behind them as they come back to the start cone. And the Autometer heat race is back underway. Michael Hermansky out in front as they come through turns 1 and 2, back into turns 3 and 4. Dalton England tried to get a big run, didn't quite have it as Patrick Bruns to the inside of Chris Bow for a third. Doesn't quite have the momentum to complete the move there, and he'll fall back into the 4th spot as Chris Bow able to hold on to 3rd for now. Bow up to the top of the racetrack, allows Bruns to get right back to him. Can't quite make that move stick though is Patrick Bruns. Still trying to make that inside move work for 3rd. Doesn't quite have it. Still out in front, Michael Hermansky over Dalton England. England's got a pretty good race car. Turning lap times about 0.2 of a second faster than race leader Michael Hermansky. And he's going to be right to the outside, gets into the rear bumper, and England goes around, and the caution comes out once again here on the Autometer heat race for the Mara Midgets. So with 3 laps in the books, Dalton England's going to get refired and join back at the tail. of the Autometer Heat Race field, as they're going to try get that car push started down towards the infield. He goes. He's trying to get the car pushed around. And it looks like they might wait on the field to go around and then push him back out onto the racing surface. And Dalton England will get his car refired. And he's going to go make a quick lap around, make sure his car is still okay. And he'll rejoin back up at the tail of this Autometer Heat Race for the Mara Midgets. It's heat race number 1 of 2. As Dalton England comes back around to the tail of the field, Michael Hermansky is going to lead them back to the 1 to go signal. Behind him, you'll find Chris Bow and Patrick Bruns. And then, of course, you'll find the 19E of Dalton England tagging back on at the tail of the field for the cause of the last incident. And Michael Hermansky going to be thinking about where he wants to bring the field. Comes down to about the middle part of the racetrack, and green flags back in the air on the Autometer Heat Race. Down to turns 1 and 2. Right away, Dalton England trying to get around the 12D of Patrick Bruns as they roll back around the top side of the racetrack. That 36 of Chris Bow running a defensive line of Dalton England. Dalton England going to get alongside, though, relatively easy. Gets pinched into the outside wall, has to back out of it. He'll keep alongside Patrick Bruns. Doesn't quite take away third that time. Fell back to fourth that time, but now clear for third as it comes off turn 2. Still Michael Hermansky out in front. White flags, or excuse me, 2 to go this time for Michael Hermansky. He's going to come around to the white flags. He rolls back through turns 3 and 4. Another defensive block thrown by Chris Bow. White flags in the air as Dalton England still cannot get around that 36 machine, but back through off turn 2, back into turns 3 and 4. You'll find the 71H of Michael Hermansky taking the checkered flag on the Autometer Heat Race. Chris Bow second, Dalton England third, Patrick Bruns fourth. And you also find Patrick Ryan, Jimmy Guthrie, the 2 non-finishers. As it looks like most of the order are going to go over the scales here in the at the conclusion of the Autometer Heat Race for the Mara Midgets. And they'll make their way off the racetrack as the second heat race for the Mara Midgets making their way onto the racetrack. 7 cars out of this second heat race presented by Hoosier Tire. Andy Bond from Mason City, Illinois in the 00 going to lead the field to green on the Hoosier Tire Heat Race. Ruben Haslett in the 20H from Lexington, Illinois going to start alongside him. Starting in third going to be Dominic Bruns in the 12C from Champaign, Illinois. Starting in fourth will be Charles Coons from Springfield, Illinois in the 11K. Starting in fifth will be the 40 of Jace Sparks from Crystal Lake, Illinois. Starting sixth will be Tyler Roth from Springfield, Illinois in the 18. And rounding out the Hoosier Tire Heat Race will be Alex Midkiff in the 70 from Belleville, Illinois in the 7th and final starting position. And the order has been given to get these cars fired, and it looks like, unfortunately, one car not able to join them. That looks to be the 70 Alex Midkiff. Will not make the start of the Hoosier Tire Heat Race. Looks like Charles Coons needing a little bit of additional help. He looks like he went around about half a lap and come to a stop once again. So the field's going to double up as they make their way past the start-finish line. Once again, Andy Bond and Ruben Haslett, the front row. Behind them, Dominic Bruns, Charles Coons, Jay Sparks, Tyler Roth making up row 3 as Alex Midkiff will not make the start of the Hoosier Tire Heat Race number 2 for the Mara Midgets. So the field's coming around to the 1-to-go signal this time as the rest of the field doubles up and gets into position. Caution lights extinguished as the field works through turn 2. So once again, Andy Bond, Ruben Haslett going to lead the field up to the start cone here on the Hoosier Tire Heat Race. Messy start and green flags in the air anyways for Mara Midgets. Hoosier Tire Heat Race number 2. Ruben Haslett drops all the way back to 4th. As looks like Haslett tried to maybe take a little bit of an outsider line than maybe he normally would. And he falls all the way back to 4th, and he looks like he might drop all the way even further back, as it looks like he's really desperately trying to keep those 2 cars behind him. And finally, Tyler Roth going to get to the inside of Ruben Haslett and gets on by. Out in front still, Andy Bond coming under pressure now from Dominic Bruns. Jay Sparks there as well in that number 40 machine as they make their way back through turns 1 and 2. Chase Sparks up on the berm, got 2 tires up on the berm, can't pass a car here at Coles County Speedway. You'd be dropped 2 spots if he did that passing a car. Since he did pass a car, no harm, no foul for that number 40 machine. But along him outside comes that number 18 to Tyler Roth through to 3rd. Tyler Roth making it looking easy up there on the high side, but Chase Sparks fights right back down on the bottom over in turns 3 and 4. High side looks like it's already there over in turns 1 and 2, just can't quite make it happen down in turns 3 and 4 as now Jay Sparks drops back to 4th. 2 to go here on the Hoosier Tire Heat Race as it's still Andy Bond out in front. Dominic Bruns under pressure from Tyler Roth to his outside. White flags in the air for Andy Bond as they make their way back down to turns 1 and 2. Contact made between Tyler Roth and Dominic Bruns. No harm, no foul. They keep their positions back through turns 3 and 4 for the final time. Andy Bond takes the Hoosier Tire Heat Race win here in Mara Midget Heat Race number 2. Dominic Bruns held on for 2nd, Tyler Roth 3rd, Jay Sparks 4th, Charles Coons 5th, Ruben Haslett 6th, and then Alex Midkiff did not make the start. So as the Mara Midgets make their way off the racetrack and over the scales, and that will conclude the heat race racing tonight here at Coles County Speedway. We're going to take a short break to work the track a little bit and get it right back into shape for the features later on tonight. We're going to take a short 30-minute intermission, about 30-minute intermission, and we'll be right back here from Coles County Speedway. It sounds like it's just about time to head back racing here at Coles County Speedway. Division 1 Composite non-wing micros making their way out onto the racetrack right now for their 20-lap feature. Starting on the pole is going to be the 88 of Billy Lee from Hammond, Illinois. Alongside him, you'll find Chevy Boyer from New Haven, Missouri in the 25B. Starting inside row 2 will be Nolan Bartley from Hammond, Illinois in the 7F. Starting 4, Sam Buell from Charleston, Illinois in the 1X. Starting in 5th will be Trey Erdman from Coal Valley, Illinois in the 69T. Starting 6th, Clay Frederick from St. Joseph, Illinois in the 47C. Starting 7th will be Drew Sherman from Phoenix, Arizona in the 3. Starting 8th, Clayton Apple in the 6 from Oakland, Illinois. Starting in 9th will be Dawson Wright from Terre Haute, Indiana in the 12. And rounding out the top 10 will be Cameron Romack in the 4R from Ashmore, Illinois. And being in the 11th and final starting spot will be Andrew Morgan in the 18M from Greencastle, Indiana. Your Division 1 Composite non-wing micro feature field. And the field's coming around. They've collected the 1-to-go signal. Caution lights extinguished as they head down into turn 1. Once again, Billy Lee, Chevy Boyer, 2 really good race cars tonight. 2 really good race car drivers are going to duel it out on the front row as they make their way through the start cone. And green flags in the air on the Division 1 Composite non-wing micro feature. Down to turn 1, top 3 very organized as they make their way back into turns 3 and 4. Billy Lee out in front, Chevy Boyer in second. Seth Buell to the inside looking for second as he makes his way back down to turns 1 and 2. To the inside of Chevy Boyer. Boyer holds on to that second spot for now as Seth Buell still working on the inside. Can't quite make that move stick. Cuts down the entry again down into turn 1. Just does not work again. Backs out of it. Headed back down to turn 3. And now the field single files out. Not really a whole lot of battles going on anywhere. Clay Frederick and Drew Sherman coming together for the 6th spot as they make their way off turn 2. And they will come back through turns 3 and 4. And Drew Sherman takes that spot away from Clay Frederick. Drew Sherman up to 6th. Going to start chasing down the cars in front of him. It's now Seth Buell has Nolan Bartley to his outside as Nolan Bartley still fighting back to the outside once again down to turns 1 and 2. Bartley on the outside, Buell on the inside as they make their way back down to turns 3 and 4. Buell backs up the entry, but it's not going to be enough. Nolan Bartley out into 3rd as now Drew Sherman himself now looking for 5th on Trey Erdman as they make their way back down to turns 3 and 4. Drew Sherman to the inside, not enough though for Trey Erdman, taking very defensive lines, sitting right behind the 1X of Seth Buell. Has himself a little bit of gap now too. Drew Sherman behind him now. He can start going on the offensive on Seth Buell in front of him. Still out in front though, Billy Lee holding about a 3/4 of a second advantage. Caution's gonna come out. A multi-car pileup down in turn 2 will be the first caution of the night here in the Division 1 Composite non-wing micro feature. Cars involved look to be Dawson Wright, Clay Frederick, Cameron Romack, and Clayton Apple down in turn 2. So track crew's going to work on getting these cars separated. Dawson Wright was able to escape relatively quickly. Track crew still working on Clay Frederick, Clayton Apple, and Cameron Romack over there in turn 2. So Clayton Apple and Cameron Romack will get their cars rolling. Looks like Clay Frederick might be waiting for the tail end of the field before he gets his car turned around. And he just about will rejoin back at the tail as well. looks like 1 to go not being given as race control still working out the restart order. Looks like they're going to give a couple more laps. So race control still working out the correct order, and it looks like it is now correct as caution lights extinguish. And we have 8 laps in the books on the 20-lap feature. Billy Lieb, Chevy Boyer, Nolan Bartley, the top 3. As they make their way back to the restart cone, Billy Lieb brings them up to the top. Green flags back in the air on the Vision 1 Composite Nodwing Micro feature. And right away, tail end of the field, getting themselves a little bit more organized than they would before. Dawson Wright getting right on past Andrew Morgan off the start. At the tail end of the field, as the rest of the field staying pretty organized. Drew Sherman still on the inside of Trey Erdman for the 5th spot. Erdman really fighting hard on the outside of Drew Sherman, but Sherman's going to be clear, headed back down the front stretch and into turn 1. Out in front, here comes Chevy Boyer to the inside of Billy Lee. Maybe made a little bit of contact, let him know he's there. Side by side for the lead, back to 1. Billy Lee fights back on the outside of turns 1 and 2. Billy Lee holding on to the Vision 1 Composite Non-Wing Micro feature lead for now. At the completion of lap number 12, Chevy Boyer sets back in line, looks to the outside in turns 1 and 2. Doesn't get the run he wanted. Now he's got to sit back in line and start to try to reel that 88 machine back in. Drew Sherman still fighting to the inside of Seth Buell for 4th. Drew Sherman's got a really good race car tonight himself. Started maybe a little bit further back than he would have liked. Started back in 7th. He's gone 2 spots forward and make that another spot as Drew Sherman goes on through for 4th as he makes his way back down to turn 1. Rest of the field starts to single file out as now Trey Erdman tries to fight to the inside of Seth Buell. Seth Buell powers back around on the outside. Doesn't allow Erdman to get to his inside. Still out in front. That 88 of Billy Lieb extending his lead over Chevy Boyer out to now 0.7 of a second with just a few laps to go. We'll have to see if the lap traffic will become a factor. Not sure if they're catching a fast enough. Maybe they are now. Andrew Morgan slowed as they came off of turn 2 that time. Clay Frederick as well, and this will play a factor. How will Billy Lieb get around it and trouble over in turn 1? The caution's going to come out once again. Clayton Apple involved in another incident, it looks like. That looks to be the 69 Tia Trey Erdman, who was also involved as Clayton Apple climbing from his number 6 machine. And that will end Clayton Apple's night here at lap number 17 on the Vision 1 Composite Non-Wing Micro feature. Clayton Apple's car going up on the hook, and he'll be headed back towards the pit area. Tough night for Clayton as his car makes its way back to the pit area. So with that, the field's going to come around to the 1-to-go signal. As once again, Billy Lieb going to lead the field back to green on the lap 18 restart. Chevy Boyer right behind him. Nolan Bartley third. Drew Sherman fourth. Seth Buell fifth. Dawson Wright sixth. Cameron Romack seventh. It looks like then it'll be Clay Frederick, Andrew Morgan, and Trey Erdman rounding out the rest of the field. So with that, caution lights extinguished once again. It'll be 3 to go for Billy Lieb when he comes back to the restart cone over there in turn 4. Billy Lieb going to bring the field up towards the middle part of the racetrack. Chevy Boyer set up a little bit more outside. Billy Lieb's on the gas. We're back green on the Vision 1 Composite non-wing micro feature. 3 to go for that number 88 machine as he's going to try to stay in front of the 25B of Chevy Boyer. As trouble over in turn 2 for Nolan Bartley. They're not quite going to complete lap number 18 before the caution comes back out again. So once again, it will still be another 3 laps for Billy Lieb to try to maintain his lead over Chevy Boyer as Nolan Bartley came to a stop up in turn 3. It looks like track crew might be looking for some debris up at the top of the racetrack on the backstretch as Nolan Bartley is going to try to get his car either pushed back to the pits or refired. And it looks like Nolan Bartley still trying to get that car maybe refired. Nope, he's going to head down towards the infield, and that will likely end Nolan Bartley's night. He's going to try and maybe get pushed a little bit further into the infield. As track crew still inspecting the track, 1 to go signal being given on the Vision 1 Composite non-wing micro feature. Once again, Billy Lieb, Chevy Boyer, and Drew Sherman, the top 3 this time, with now Nolan Bartley out of the race. Making up the rest of the top 5 will be Seth Buell and Dawson Wright. This field works off of turn 2. Billy Lieb are going to have to bring the field back to the middle of the racetrack. Chevy Boyer sets up right behind him. Green flag is back in the air on the Vision 1 Composite non-wing micro feature. Wasn't that great of a restart for Chevy Boyer as Billy Lieb has 3 laps to go to try to hold on. Billy Lieb in that 88 machine down to the bottom of the racetrack, and he's pulling away from Chevy Boyer behind him. 2 to go for that number 88 machine. Looks like it maybe hit something down there in turns 1 and 2, but he's got himself a half-second advantage as he comes around to the white flag. Billy Lieb back into turn 1. That car looks good. Back on the middle side of the racetrack as he comes off of turn number 2, down into turns 3 and 4, right around the bottom of the racetrack by the berm. Checkered flags in the air for Billy Lieb, your Vision 1 Composite non-wing micro feature winner tonight here at Coles County Speedway. Chevy Boyer will finish in second. Drew Sherman third, Seth Buell fourth, Dawson Wright fifth, Cameron Romack sixth, Clay Frederick seventh, Andrew Morgan eighth, Trey Erdman ninth, Nolan Bartley, Clayton Apple, the 2 non-finishers as the top 3 will head over the scales. And we'll have to see if the win is official for the 88 of Billy Lieb as he heads over the scales. Like Cameron Romack also going over the scales as well. And Billy Lieb's going to pull into Coles County Speedway victory lane, a feature winner tonight here at Coles County Speedway. It'll be Billy Lieb's first win of the year here at Coles County. Previous best finish was 3rd on May 11th. And he's out of the car. Let's give a big round of applause to Billy Lieb, your Vision 1 Composite non-wing micro feature winner. So Billy Lee going to make his way off the racetrack, a feature winner tonight, which will allow the K1 Race Gear Outlaw Wings to make their way onto the racetrack for their 20-lap feature. Starting on the pole is going to be Ty Schurer from Sherrod, Illinois in the 0-3. Starting alongside him will be the 25 of Tyler Grafton from Springfield, Illinois. Starting inside row 2 will be Brendan Pfeiffer from Livingston, Illinois in the 10B. Starting fourth will be Caleb Sutherland in the 64 from Mattoon, Illinois. Starting fifth will be Brian Martinelli in the 4X from Bloomsdale, Missouri. Starting sixth will be Lucas Easton from Tuscola, Illinois in the 0. And then rounding out the field in the 7th, the final starting spot will be the 00 Brendan Healy from Marshall, Illinois. Your K1 Race Gear Outlaw Wing feature field tonight. And the field's coming around to the one to go signal this time by. And with that, the caution lights will extinguish. As once again, it'll be Ty Schurer and Tyler Grafton making up the front row as they approach the start cone over in turn 4. And green flags in the air on the K1 Race Gear Outlaw Wing feature down to turn 1. Brendan Pfeiffer makes that move right away. 3 wide to the bottom. Brendan Pfeiffer clear to the lead. Right away, though, Ty Schurer fights back to the inside over in turns 3 and 4. Not enough. Brendan Pfeiffer leads lap number 1. Still a mess behind him, 2-3 wide at the tail end of the field. Brendan Healy trying to make his way forward. He's finally going to pick off the 0 of Lucas Easton, looking to the inside of the 4X of Brendan Martinelli. Can't quite get that move to stick down there. And Brendan Healy has to settle for 6 for now. As now the top 4 single file as Brendan Healy still fighting to the outside of Brian Martinelli. Martinelli to the inside, back down to turns 3 and 4. Brendan Healy. Brendan Healy going to be clear for 5th as he makes his way off turn 4. Brendan Healy's got a pretty good race car, but not enough time, I don't think, as Brendan Pfeiffer continuing to pull a very, very hefty lead on the field now, clearing out to a 2 1/4 over second place Ty Schurer, as Schurer himself has a pretty decent gap behind him. Brendan Healy making some contact with the 25 of Tyler Grafton. Tyler Grafton slowing off turn number 4. Tyler Grafton going to pull down to the infield. That'll end Tyler Grafton's night. Now Brendan Healy, see what he can do now that he's got some clean air on those wings for that number 00. He's the only car turning lap time similar to race leader Brendan Pfeiffer right now. No one else anywhere even close to those 2 cars. As now Brendan Healy back to the top side, trying to get around Caleb Sutherland for 3rd. Caleb Sutherland back down to turn 3 on the inside. Brendan Healy on the top side. Brendan Healy easily alongside and easily clear by the time he gets back down to turn 1. That Brendan Healy car going to be definitely the car to watch if there is a caution halfway down for Brendan Pfeiffer, though. He's got himself a 2.5-second advantage over second place Ty Schurer as he starts working into some lap traffic. As now Lucas Easton slow on the front stretch, trying to get that car down to the infield as the field charges on next to him. See if he can get that car just enough inside. Can't quite get it. Yes, he can. Brendan Healy still trying to work around that 0-3 of Ty Schurer for 2nd. Going to be just about alongside off turn 2. Brendan Healy, some heavy contact made. Both those cars going around, and the caution comes out. Caution is out on lap number 12 of the K1 Race Gear Outlaw Wing feature as Ty Schurer, Brendan Healy get together battling for 2nd. And now both those cars will have to head towards the tail end of the field on the restart. Brendan Healy going to get his car refired. He's going to tag on into the 4th restarting spot. There's only 5 cars left running at the lap 12 caution. Lucas Easton, Tyler Grafton, the 2 cars out of the race. Towers making sure everybody's back into their correct restarting positions, as we did have to go back 1 lap.
So with that, the Wendigo signal's given. Brendan Pfeiffer going to be leading the field back to green. Behind him is Caleb Sutherland, Brian Martinelli, Ty Scher, and Brendan Healy, the last remaining cars out on the racetrack for the K1 Race Gear Outlaw Wing feature. And Brendan Pfeiffer is going to bring the field to the middle of the racetrack as he approaches the restart cone. He goes really early, and green flags is thrown anyways on the K1 Race Gear Outlaw Wing feature, back green. Brendan Healy going to have to work right back around Ty Scher almost immediately as it looks like the rest of the field spreads out. A couple of car lengths separating each car. Brendan Pfeiffer out in front of Caleb Sutherland, who turns a very similar lap time. Trouble over in turn 2. Caution's going to come out once again. Brendan Healy goes around on the entrance to turn 1. Yeah, that car comes to a stop at the top of the racetrack. And Brendan Healy will get refired. And it sounds like Brendan Healy has been asked to pull down to the infield, so the Wendigo signal has been given. 4 cars remain out on the racetrack. Brendan Pfeiffer, Caleb Sutherland, Brian Martinelli, and Ty Scher will make up the 4 remaining cars. And Brendan Pfeiffer going once again at the restart cone. Green flags back in the air on the K1 Race Gear Outlaw Wing feature. And Caleb Sutherland himself having a pretty good race car now, figuring out that middle to high line as he's looking like he's running very similar. Actually is running faster lap times than race leader Brendan Pfeiffer, as Pfeiffer's got himself less than a half a second advantage as they work back through turns 3 and 4. Brendan Pfeiffer starting to run defensive lines. Then that car slide up just a little bit further on corner exit, taking some of that clean air away from Caleb Sutherland, as now Ty Scher clears for 3rd on Brendan Martinelli. 15 laps down for Brendan Pfeiffer as he works back through turns 3 and 4. Still that 64. Caleb Sutherland battling right there with him, just 0.3 of a second back. Less than a car length separates them now as they make their way back down to turns 3 and 4. Brendan Pfeiffer, a mistake there for the 10B. That car got tight right in the middle of the corner, and here comes Caleb Sutherland on the outside. Can't quite get the momentum there. Throws a big move down into turns 3 and 4. 2 to go this time by for the race leader. Side by side at the line. Caleb Sutherland clear for the race lead as they make their way back into turns 3 and 4. Brendan Pfeiffer on the bottom as the white flag's out on the K1 Race Gear Outlaw Wing feature. Caleb Sutherland setting back in line right behind Brendan Pfeiffer as they make their way back off turn 2, back into turns 3 and 4. Going to try to back up the corner. It's not going to be enough. Brendan Pfeiffer takes home the K1 Race Gear Outlaw Wing feature over Caleb Sutherland. Ty Scher will finish in 3rd. Brendan Martinelli in 4th. Brendan Healy will be the first nod finisher. Lucas Easton, Tyler Grafton, the rest of them. And a hard-fought battle there on the last 3 laps ends with Brendan Pfeiffer on top of the K1 Race Gear Outlaw Wing feature. These cars going to head over the scales as they come off the racetrack and towards the infield. And Brendan Pfeiffer making his way up onto the scales. And it looks like that is good. He'll head towards victory lane here at Coles County Speedway. It's his first win of the year. It is his first win here at Coles County Speedway since 2019. And there he is. Let's give a big round of applause for Braden Pfeiffer, your K1 Race Gear Outlaw Wing feature winner.
So Braden Pfeiffer going to work his way off the racetrack, a feature winner once again here at Coles County Speedway. Coming up next will be the High Caliber Graphic Junior Sprint feature, 15-lap feature for the junior sprints tonight. Starting on the pole is going to be the one of Riker Tops from Alexis, Illinois. Alongside him will be A.J. Williams in the 88A from Harristown, Illinois. Starting in third will be Madison Meany from Terre Haute, Indiana in the 10M. And starting fourth will be Jasper Hellman from Ashmore, Illinois in the J16. Rounding out the top five will be Evan France from Lovington, Illinois in the 22. Starting sixth will be Tucker Cone from Benton, Kentucky in the 14. Starting inside row 4 will be Xander LaRose from Festus, Missouri in the 1Z. Starting on the outside of row 4 will be Cason Hatfill from Greenup, Illinois in the 16. And then starting in ninth will be the 99, Bryson Hellman from Greenup, Illinois, who rounds out the High Caliber Graphic Junior Sprint feature field tonight. And once again, 15-lap feature as they come off of turn number 4 and will receive the 1-to-go signal. Caution lights extinguished once again for the High Caliber Graphic Junior Sprints, as it will be Riker Tops and A.J. Williams approaching the start cone over in turn 4. Green flags in the air on the High Caliber Graphic Junior Sprint feature. A.J. Williams gets run right up to the outside wall as Riker Tops tries to open up his entry. No harm, no foul between those two drivers as they make their way off turn 4. Riker Top leads lap number 1. Now the field begins to single file out as they make their way back around to complete lap number 2. Still out in front, Riker Tops extending the lead over A.J. Williams by 0.2 that lap. And Madison Meany sideways off turn 2 in third. It'll allow Jasper Hellman to get a big run down the backstretch. Look to the inside off turn 4. Doesn't quite have the run. And Jasper Hellman still looking on the 10M of Madison Meany, trying to make the move. Riker Tops trying to get around the lap traffic of the 99 of Bryson Hellman. As A.J. Williams gets through that lap traffic, maybe a little bit cleaner, a little bit of contact made between those two cars and allows Madison Meany right to the back bumper of A.J. Williams. Contact made big time down in turn 4. It'd be the 14 of Tucker Cone making some heavy contact there with the J16 of Jasper Hellman as they roll off turn number 4, and Tucker Cone falls back to 6 as Evan France goes on by. Still out in front, that number 1 of Riker Tops with a 2.5 second advantage over second place A.J. Williams. As A.J. Williams trying to reel him back in. Now A.J. Williams stuck behind the 16 of Cason Hatfill, trying to get around to the inside. Will finally get around at 16, but lost a ton of time to Riker Tops. Was within 2 seconds now, falls to 3 seconds behind. Now Riker Tops approaching the 1Z of Xander LaRose. They try to get around Xander LaRose cleanly to the inside off turn 2. Didn't lose a lot of time there. As finally the 14 of Tucker Cone gets back around Evan France for 5th. And the gap down to about 2.25 seconds for A.J. Williams on Riker Tops. As now A.J. Williams starting to get into that heavier lap traffic that Riker Tops just got through. A.J. Williams to the inside of Xander LaRose, got by him pretty quickly. Xander LaRose pulling his car down to the infield with an issue of some sort. That will end Xander LaRose's night. 12 laps down for race leader Riker Tops, coming off turn 4 to complete lap number 13 as he'll get around Evan France. Now has up to 5th lap, 2 to go for that number 1 of Riker Tops with a 5-second advantage over second place as he rolls through turns 3 and 4, collecting the white flag this time. Riker Tops making his way off turn 2, down the backstretch, and into turns 3 and 4 for the final time. And checkered flags flying for that number 1. Riker Tops takes the High Caliber Graphic Junior Sprint feature. And A.J. Williams going to be finishing in second, 4.5 seconds behind. Madison Meany 3rd, Jasper Hellman 4th.
Tucker Cone 5th, Evan France 6th, Case and Hatfield 7th, Brayson Hellman 8th, and Xander LaRose, the only nod finisher. And now Riker Top's going to have to roll back around to the scales. Went just past it, and he'll have to tag on at the tail behind Madison Meany. And Riker Top's going to be headed for victory lane, maybe not. And Riker Top's getting a little bit of directions to get down to victory lane. First win for Riker Tops here at Coles County Speedway. Previous best finish was second on July 13th. And let's give a big round of applause for Riker Tops, your high caliber graphic junior sprint feature winner. And Riker Toots going to come off the racetrack as the newest feature winner here at Coles County Speedway to allow for the Strong Elevator A-Class Wings to come onto the racetrack for their 20-lap feature. Starting on the pole is going to be the 21V of Danny Vicino from Terre Haute, Indiana. Alongside him will be the 46 of Blaine Maybury from Benton, Illinois. Starting in third will be the 95M of Noah Mell from Farland, Indiana. Starting fourth will be the 8J of J.J. Williams from Harristown, Illinois. Starting fifth will be Bodie Everett from Litchfield, Illinois in the 3E. Starting sixth will be Harrison Rodards from Dardine Prairie, Missouri in the 11H. Starting seventh will be Drake Standalan in the 359. Starting eighth will be Tyler Taylor from Danville, Illinois in the 88T. Starting ninth will be Brian Martinelli from Bloomsdale, Missouri in the 4X. Starting 10th will be Aldria Cowden in the 07C, also from Terre Haute, Indiana. And they make up your Strong Elevator A-Class Wing feature field tonight. So with that, the field will receive the 1-to-go signal this time by, as it will be that number 21V of Danny Vicino and the 46 of Blaine Maybury collecting that, and they're going to head towards the start cone over in turn 4. And Danny Vicino, Blaine Maybury going to Hop on the gas early, and green flags in the air on the strong limiter A-class wing. Feature right away. Blaine Mayberry clear for the lead as they work through turns 1 and 2. Here comes J.J. Williams as well in tow. J.J. Williams through to second from fourth. And now to the outside of Blaine Mayberry. Doesn't quite have enough, trying to work back down to turn 1. And Bodie Everett sideways out in front of the field. Harrison Robards nowhere to go, and the caution's going to come out as Harrison Robards comes to a stop with his nose pointed to the infield. Really tough break there for Harrison Robards. Had himself pretty good start. Unfortunately, the car in front of him, E3 Bodie Everett, got a little bit sideways, got into the rear bumper, and nothing Harrison Robards could do there. So tough break as Harrison Robards will drop to the tail. Race control talking it over, seeing what the restart order is going to be. And track crew will finally get the 11H of Harrison Robards free. And so the field's going to double back up on a full race restart, as race control had to go back a lap with Harrison Robards to the tail. That's the only difference from the initial start. As Harrison Robards rolls back around, and he'll join back up on the outside of row 5. And the field's coming back around to the 1 to go signal once again. Danny Vicino, Blaine Mayberry making up row 1. Noah Mel, J.J. Williams behind them. This time it'll be Bodie Everett and Tyler Taylor making up row 3. And then it'll be Drake Standalin and Brian Martinelli, Audrey Cowden, and Harrison Robards making up the 5th and final row. So with that, Danny Vicino and Blaine Mayberry going to lead the field back to the start cone. And green flags back in the air on the strong limiter A-class wing. Feature right away that 8J of J.J. Williams didn't get anywhere near as good of a restart as he did the initial start. And that allows Noah Mel to go on by, trying to fight for that second spot on the high side off turn 4. 3 wide off turn 4, actually, for the 4th spot. Bodie Everett on the bottom, Tyler Taylor in the middle, J.J. Williams on the outside. And J.J. Williams gets the best of it and clears for 4th. As Audrey Cowden looks slow on the backstretch entering turn 3. Race control watching that car, seeing they need to throw a caution. None needed as Tyler Taylor drops back behind Drake Standalin as he continues to fall back after the start. Still out in front though, still in front is Blaine Mayberry as he continues to have a well over a second lead now over second place Noah Mel. As now Danny Vicino still under pressure from J.J. Williams behind him. J.J. Williams really backs up the corner now, tries to pull the crossover move. Vicino gets on the gas just early enough, doesn't allow that 8J by him. Blue flag being shown now to the 07 Cia Audrey Cowden, allowing the field to go by to her outside, it looks like. As the field charges back through turns 1 and 2, Audrey Cowden look like she's going to pull down to the infield. That'll end Audrey Cowden's night. Still Blaine Mayberry out in front over Noah Mel. Danny Vicino slows on over in turns 1 and 2. J.J. Williams takes advantage, and J.J. Williams goes by for 3rd. Finally has some clean air on the wings for that 8J machine. He can try to go chase down Noah Mel and Blaine Mayberry out in front of him now. I know maybe Danny Vicino just got tight down there in the middle of 1 and 2, but something happened on that 21V. It just went a little bit too far straight on the high side in turn 1, and that allowed the 8J of J.J. Williams by trouble over turn 3. Couple cars coming together. Bodie Everett, Drake Standalin, and the caution's going to come out.
it looks like Bodie Everett got sideways again, this time in front of Drake Standalin. Yeah, an unfortunate break for both of them as they'll head towards the tail. It appears one car dropping fluid down on the racetrack. I have to try to see which car it is. Yeah, it sounds like the fluid might be being dropped by Tyler Taylor's car. They're asking him to pull down towards the middle of the racetrack. There's a line of fluid stretching all the way from turn 4 all the way down to turn 1 up against the outside wall here. And now smoke starting to pour out from that number 88 machine down in the infield. Looks like Tyler Taylor electing to stay in his race car. So with that, the field will come around, and they're collecting the one-to-go signal this time. It'll be Blaine Mayberry, Noah Mell, J.J. Williams, the top 3. Behind them, Danny Vicino, Bodie Everett, who round out the top 5. Then Drake Standalin, Harrison Robards, Brian Martinelli make up the rest of the field. Blaine Mayberry going to come right down to the bottom of the racetrack at the restart cone. Green flags back in the air on the strong limiter A-Class wing feature down to turn 1. Blaine Mayberry has himself a car length advantage and extending out to 2-3 car lengths by the time they make it down to turn 3. Drake Standalin already making moves around Bodie Everett as make their way back down to turns 1 and 2. Drake Standalin now makes a quick move on Harrison Robards for 5th, and Harrison Robards fighting back down to the inside, down to the turn 3, not enough. Drake Standalin holding on to 5th, looking on Danny Vicino now for 4th as Harrison Robards backs out of a possible move, going down through turns 3 and 4. Still out in front, Blaine Mayberry has himself a half a second advantage over second place Noah Mell and J.J. Williams behind him. As J.J. Williams sitting right in line behind that 95M machine. He's going to see if he wants to try to take a move down here into turns 3 and 4. Tries to pull a little bit of a crossover move, not quite enough. Gains a 10th on him though there as it worked through turns 3 and 4. Back down to turns 1 and 2 on the backstretch and into 3. J.J. Williams still in 3rd, looking on the 95M and Noah Mell. Smoke pouring from the 21V of Danny Vicino. Drake Standalin pulls down in the infield as well. This is going to have to be a caution as there's appears to be a ton of fluid down there on the racetrack stretching from turn 4 down to turn 1. This will be another caution in the strong limiter A-Class wing feature. Tough break for Danny Vicino. Another tough break for Drake Standalin as looks like his car is going to be pushed through the infield as well. Doesn't look like he's going to make his way back out onto the racetrack. It looks like he might just be done. And with that, 6 remain here in the strong limiter A-Class wing feature. And now these drivers got to work this fluid in. It's quite a bit of the fluid right on the exit of turn 4. Looks like they've just about got that fluid worked in. Probably gonna take a couple more laps. And with that, 1 to go, signals being given this time. As once again, Blaine Mayberry, Noah Mel, J.J. Williams, the top 3. As they work back to the restart cone over in turn 4. Blaine Mayberry down to the bottom of the racetrack. It looks like they do wave it off, going around one more time. Weren't quite organized enough. As caution lights stay extinguished. It once again is that 46 of Blaine Mayberry going to bring the field down to the bottom of the racetrack. Goes early. Green flags back in the air on the Strong Elevator A-Class wing feature. It's a great restart for that number 46 machine. Blaine Mayberry clear by 3 car lengths by the time they make it back down to turns 3 and 4. Noah Mel trying that same groove as race leader Blaine Mayberry. Not enough, though, for now. J.J. Williams still in line on the bottom of the racetrack. Bodie Everett looked to the inside of Harrison Robards, looking again down at turns 3 and 4. A little bit of contact, and Bodie Everett clear for 4th. Harrison Robards fighting back on the top side through turns 1 and 2, and not quite going to have the momentum he needs on the high side. Pulls a crossover move. Bodie Everett parks it on the apron, though. And Bodie Everett will hold on to 4th for now. Two to go for the top 3 as they work off of turn number 2. Blaine Mayberry with a half-second advantage over Noah Mel behind him. White flags in the air this time for the 46. As they work their way back through turns 1 and 2, that gap extending out even more, almost to a second now. As Blaine Mayberry working through turns 3 and 4 for the final chime. Checkered flag. Blaine Mayberry takes the Strong Elevator A-Class wing feature. Second place will go to Noah Mel. J.J. Williams takes 3rd. Bodie Everett 4th. Harrison Robards 5th. Brian Martinelli 6th. And Danny Vicino, Drake Staniland, Tyler Taylor, and Audrey Cowden, your non-finishers. And Blake Mayberry will pass the scales and make his way to victory lane for the first time this year. That number 46 making the trip to victory lane. And he's out of the car. Let's give a big round of applause to your Strong Elevator A-Class wing feature winner, Blaine Mayberry. Blaine is sponsored by Country Financial, Hinkle Performance, and Lakeland Square Laundry. And once again, this is Blaine Mayberry's first win of the year here at Coles County Speedway, his third in the past 2 years. Coming up next is going to be the Patriot Landscaping Restricted Micros for their 15-lap feature. Starting on the pole is going to be the 36 of Landon Miner from House Springs, Missouri. Alongside him will be the 14R of River Cone from Benton, Kentucky. Starting in third will be the 14 of Niles Tudor from Harrisburg, Illinois. Starting fourth will be the 17 of Cole Jones from Streator, Illinois. Starting in fifth will be Mackenzie Meany from Terre Haute, Indiana in the 10M. Starting sixth will be Liam Warren from Highland, Illinois in the 22W. Starting seventh will be the 22 of Tanner Triplett from Lincoln, Illinois. Starting eighth will be Emerson Kinzer from Arlington, Illinois in the 14E. Starting ninth will be Kinzer Holloway from Ashmore, Illinois. And rounding out the top 10 will be Mackenzie Dowler in the 1K from Springfield, Illinois. Starting 11th will be Dalton Clary from Marine, Illinois in the 22D. And starting in 12th will be the 71M of Lydia May from Terre Haute, Indiana, as the field receives the 1-to-go signal this time by. We're headed green next time by. So with that, the front row of Landon Miner and River Cone through the restart cone. Green flags in the air on the Patriot Landscaping Restricted Micro Feature. Side by side through turns 1 and 2 goes the field. Tanner Tribbett looked to take it 3 wide in between Madison Meany and Liam Warren. Trouble in front of the field. Cole Jones and the caution's going to come out. Emerson Kinzer goes barrel rolling down off turn 4, and the red flag is displayed. The other car, the cars involved will be the 17 and Cole Jones, the 22 of Tanner Triplett, the 22D of Dalton Clary. Looked like the 79H of Kinzer Holloway may have gotten a piece of it, and of course Emerson Kinzer cartwheels over in turn 4, lands on all 4 tires, and that'll bring out the red flag. Looks like Lydia May is calling it a night. Yeah, it looks like maybe her damage was a little bit too much from her flip in her heat race. For those just tuning in on WFO TV, we are currently under red flag for a scary incident involving Emerson Kinzer. We will be passing updates along when we can get them. And we do have an update at this time on the condition of Emerson Kinzer. Emerson was awake and alert when extricated from the vehicle, and she's currently being checked out by our EMTs currently at the track. It's very good news we were hoping to hear. And with that, we're going to head back into yellow flag conditions here on the Patriot Landscaping Restricted Micro Feature. Still all 15 laps to run. So, of course, with 0 laps being run, we're headed back towards a race restart. And the field will double up as they make their way back into turn 1. One to go signal not given, and as the race control is making sure the order is correct. And they'll work their way back around through turns 3 and 4, and this time they will collect the one to go signal. And once again, it'll be Landon Minor and River Cone making up the front row of the restart once again, with a complete full race restart as one lap was not complete. And it'll be Landon Minor and River Cone leading the field back to the start cone. Green flags back in the air on the Patriot Landscaping Restricted Micro Feature. Down to turn 1. Cole Jones gets pushed way wide, drops all the way to the tail end of the field. Mackenzie Dowler chops the nose off of Liam Morin going down to turn 3. But no harm, no foul. The rest of the field makes their way through and completes lap number 1. And now Mackenzie Dowler gets up on the wheels of the 10M of Mackenzie Meany. And no harm, no foul there as they come around complete lap number 2. Everybody starting to take it a little bit easier after that lap 1 incident. Landon Minor, though, a second advantage over second place River Cone. Turning lap times, I mean, it's half a second faster than the rest of the field. That number 36 machine absolutely flying out there tonight. Now Liam Warren to the inside of Mackenzie Dowler for the 5th spot. Liam Warren takes that spot away relatively easily. Mackenzie Dowler tries to fight back. She gets up over the berm as she goes around over in turn 2, and the caution's out as Mackenzie Dowler went for a spin down in turn 2. So Mackenzie Dowler gets her car refired, and she'll tag back on in at the tail of the field. It looks like she's going to pull down through the infield and get that car right behind the 17 of Cole Jones in the 8th place position as the field comes around to the one to go signal. Top 3 once again, Landon Minor, River Cone, Niles Tudor on the restart. Behind them, Mackenzie Meany, Liam Warren, Tanner Triplett, Cole Jones, and then Mackenzie Dowler making up the rest of the field. As 4 non-finishers will make up the field so far. 4 cars out. Emerson Kinzer, Dalton Cleary, Lydia May, Kinzer, Holloway, the 4 cars out of competition. Cole Jones to the infield to add him to that list. As Landon Minor brings the field to the top of the racetrack. Green flags back in the air on the Patriot Landscaping Restricted Micro Feature. Down through turns 1 and 2, the field goes. Mackenzie Dowler trying to make that move right away on Tanner Triplett. Couldn't get the move done. Still River Cone trying to stick out in front of the 14 of Niles Tudor. Niles Tudor himself getting backed up to Mackenzie Meany as Liam Warren trying to fight around Tanner Triplett. And Tanner Triplett trying to fight down on the inside at the line. It'll be Liam Warren ahead, but not for long as through goes Tanner Triplett for 5th. Liam Warren fighting back down on the inside. A little bit of contact made. Liam Warren holding on to 5th at the line. It's Liam Warren again for the 5th spot. Tanner Triplett still to the inside as they work their way back down to turns 3 and 4. Tanner Triplett going to try to throw it in there hard on the brakes to get that car to turn a little bit better. That time it's Tanner Triplett at the line. Mackenzie Dowler liking what she sees in front of her, finally takes advantage of it, backs out of it though as she got alongside Liam Warren. Now she'll really take advantage of that, gets to the inside of Liam Warren for 7th as Mackenzie Dowler will be ahead at the line, for 6th. Mackenzie Dowler on the inside of Liam Warren, pinches Warren up towards the outside wall. Dowler still ahead at the line for 6th as race leader Landon Miner comes around to complete lap number 10. He's got himself a 2-second advantage over River Cone, and Niles Tudor is 2 seconds back of River Cone himself. And now Mackenzie Dowler sideways as she got to the inside of Liam Warren. That time wasn't enough. And now a couple car lengths separate the rest of the field. Liam Warren now alongside Tanner Triplett again as they work through turns 1 and 2. Back off of turn 2, back down to turn 1 and 2, off turn 4. Trouble over in turn 1. Liam Warren going up over the berm, trying to keep the car headed in the right direction. We stay green as Liam Warren drops back to 7th. Landon Miner, though, with 2 to go. Coming to the white flag this time. Off turn 4, Landon Miner collects the white flag with a 3-second advantage over River Cone. And Landon Miner back into turns 3 and 4 for the final time. Checkered flags in the air for that 36. Landon Miner takes home the Patriot Landscaping Restricted Micro Feature win. River Cone will come in 2nd, 2.5 seconds back. Niles Tudor 3rd, Mackenzie Meany 4th, Tanner Triplett 5th, Mackenzie Dowler 6th, Liam Warren 7th, Cole Jones the first non-finisher. Then it's Emerson Kinzer, Dalton Cleary, Lydia May, and Kinzer Halloway. Once again, top 3 headed up over the scales. And now Landon Miner headed up over the scales. It looks good, and Landon Miner headed to victory lane for the 2nd time this year here at Coles County Speedway. Previous win coming on May 11th. And he's climbing out of the car. Let's give a big round of applause to Landon Miner, your Patriot Landscaping Restricted Micro Feature winner. And Landon Miner is going to be pushed back to the pit area as a two-time winner here at Coles County Speedway in 2024. And you see them on track now. It's your Midget Auto Racing Association Fusion Engineering A feature. It's a 20-lap feature for the Mara Midgets tonight. And starting on the pole will be the 71H of Michael Hermansky from Creve Coeur, Illinois. Alongside him will be the 12C of Dominic Bruns from Champaign, Illinois. Starting in third will be Dalton England from Springfield, Illinois, the 19E. Starting fourth will be the 11K of Charles Coons from Springfield, Illinois as well. Riding out the top five will be Chris Bow from Indianapolis, Indiana in the 36. Starting sixth will be the 40 of Jay Sparks from Crystal Lake, Illinois. Starting in seventh will be the 12D of Patrick Bruns from Champaign, Illinois. Starting eighth will be Tyler Roth from Springfield, Illinois in the 18. Starting in ninth will be Andy Bond from Mason City, Illinois in the 00. And rounding out the top 10 will be Jimmy Guthrie in the 21G from Rockport, Indiana. Starting 11th will be Ruben Haslett from Lexington, Illinois in the 20H. And starting in 12th will be Patrick Ryan from Springfield, Illinois in the 23. And Alex Midkiff in the 70 from Belleville, Illinois will start in the 13th and final starting position on your Fusion Engineering Mara Midget feature. It looks like, unfortunately, Alex Midkiff will not have his issues diagnosed, and it looks like he will not join the Mara Midget field tonight. So once again, as we've done all night long, going to give these drivers a few laps to build some engine heat ahead of their 20-lap feature. Going to give them about 2 to 5 laps. For our flagman, John Shipman's going to be looking for a thumbs-up signal from the drivers. And of course, during this quick downtime, where every single weekly racing at Coles County Speedway wouldn't be possible without all of the track sponsors, including Tomahawk Roofing Contractors, LLC, Fuca Tree Service, Handing Racing Components, Victory Fuel, Kimstring Race Fuels, RS12 Motorsports, Spartan Transportation, LLC, High Caliber Graphics, Dirt 2 Media, King Chassis, Hyper Racing, K1 Race Gear, Vision 1 Composite, Patriot Landscaping, Strong Elevator, Strong Bookkeeping Solutions, Napa Know-How of Mattoon, Neoga, and Effingham, Duncan Windows, Burromax, and Cleveland Grain Systems. And with that, it looks like the Mara Midget Fusion Engineering feature is just about ready to get underway as the field's starting to come back together in their double file order. Once again, a 20-lap feature as everybody's getting themselves into their correct positions. Have to see which cars are not out on the racetracks. Looks like we're missing quite a few, one of those being the 23, Patrick Ryan. Also looks like he did not make the start. Went for a tumble earlier on in his heat race, and the 1 to go signal is being given for the Fusion Engineering feature here in the Mara Midget Series tonight here at Coles County Speedway. It's their return to Coles County Speedway. They came here earlier this year. It's their second event here at Coles County Speedway. And it will be Michael Hermansky and Dominic Bruns leading the field up to the start cone on the Fusion Engineering feature, and green flags in the air. We're underway. Through turns 1 and 2. No, we're not. We're going to wave it off. Looks like maybe everybody went a little bit too early. Everybody was very much ready to go. And we've got a little bit of a jump from the front row with Michael Hermansky and Dominic Bruns. So we're going to wave it off. We're going to try it again. So once again, warning issues this time to Michael Hermansky, Dominic Bruns. Restart was not organized enough. Race Control didn't like it, waved it off, and we're headed back towards the start cone once again for Michael Hermansky and Dominic Bruns on the Fusion Engineering feature. We're green once again.
Michael Hermansky with a decent size advantage through turns 1 and 2. They're 3 wide behind him for about 5th. Jay Sparks with the advantage as he'll go through for the 5th spot for now. Still out in front, Michael Hermansky over Dominic Bruns as they complete lap number 1. Dalton England there as well in tow. Watch it a little bit further back. It's at 11K of Charles Coons and the 40 of Jay Sparks. Jay Sparks pretty good here at Coles County Speedway. Last time he was here, though, it ended in disaster for that number 40 machine as out in front, Michael Hermansky under pressure from Dalton England. Dalton England's alongside, back down to turn 1. And Michael Hermansky's got nothing for him. Dalton England clear, all clear by the time he gets off turn 2. Dalton England turning lap times at least 3/10 of a second faster than the field. In fact, he's a full second faster than the field as he completes lap number 4. Jay Sparks himself clearing up to 3rd now as he gets around Dominic Bruns as they come through turns 1 and 2. Top 2 getting themselves rather separated rather quickly. The rest of the field pretty organized behind them as they stay side by side throughout the field. Jay Sparks holding on to 3rd for now. Dominic Bruns 4th. Tyler Roth able to pick up the 5th spot. Tyler Roth sideways in front of the field. Going to pick up both the Bruns cars, and the caution's going to come out. Nowhere to go for Dominic and Patrick Bruns there for that caution. As it looks like that's Patrick Bruns that comes to a stop on the exit of turn 2 with Tyler Roth. Roth had just cleared for 5th. So caution number 1 on the Fusion Engineering feature comes out on lap number 5. And the question is, does anybody have anything for Dalton England? I mean, he was turning lap times about a full second faster than the field. Just not sure if anyone has anything for him. Tyler Roth was about a 10th slower than him. Was a little further back in the field, was trying to make his way forward when he went around over in turn 2. And it looks like, unfortunately, that car is going up on the hook. So the second fastest car in the first 5 laps is out of the race. Jay Sparks running 3rd is the 3rd fastest car on the racetrack. See if he has anything for race leader Dalton England. He's got to get a good jump on the restart, though, if he wants to have a shot. It sounds like race control is trying to get the restart order correct. The 11 and 00 need to switch their spots. And it looks like they will as they come through back into turn 1. And that will get everybody back into their correct restart positions. The field's going to come around to the 1 to go signal this time. Top 3 on the restart is going to be Dalton England, Michael Hermansky, and Jay Sparks. Then it'll be Dominic Bruns in 4th. 5th will go to the 11K of Charles Coons. And with that, Dalton England's going to be thinking about where does he want to bring this field as he makes his way. Looks at the middle of the racetrack. Is going to dive at the restart cone. Really took his time on it. Green flags back in the air on the Fusion Engineering features. It's a mess on the restart. Couple of cars really getting tangled together, one of which being that 11K of Charles Coons. Dominic Bruns go to a stop up there in turn 2, and the caution's going to come right back out once again. It's just a messy restart for those drivers. They're going to have to try to clean it up a little bit next time they give it a shot. As Jay Sparks will have to fall back behind Michael Hermansky. He got himself a great restart, got right around him as soon as he could. But a very messy restart leads to the second caution of the Fusion Engineering feature. It looks like Dominic Bruns needing a little bit of help getting refired in that number 12 steam machine.
And it looks like he's actually pulling down the infield. That'll end his night. Both Bruns cars out of the race. And 1 to go signals been given to the field. Once again, Dalton England, Michael Hermansky, Jay Sparks, the top 3 on the restart. Behind them, it'll be the 11K of Charles Coons and the 00 of Andy Bond. As Dalton England brings the field to the middle of the racetrack, dives at the restart cone. We're back green on the Fusion Engineering feature. A little bit more of a managed restart this time as they make their way through turns 1 and 2. Jay Sparks going to get a good restart this time. Is going to have to try to get around Michael Hermansky as fast as he can, as Dalton English is going to pull away from them out in front of him. Michael Hermansky about the 6th fastest car on track right now, and there comes the move from Jay Sparks. Sparks through to second. And now Michael Hermansky fights back on the inside. Sparks couldn't back up the car. Nuv makes a little bit of contact with the right rear of Hermansky's car, but Jay Sparks cleared a second. We might have ourselves a good race on our hands. See if Jay Sparks has anything he can to chase down Dalton England. Dalton England still turning lap times about 0.2 of a second faster than second place Jay Sparks as they roll back through turns 3 and 4 to complete lap number 9. Jay Sparks does close in that time, got 0.4 on him, but he's about a second and a quarter back from the rear bumper of the 19 of Dalton England. As the battle for third still ongoing now between Michael Hermansky and Charles Coons back down to turn 1. Charles Coons on the outside of Michael Hermansky, going to try to be alongside. Contact made. Looks like something's broken on the left front of the 11K of Charles Coons. Maybe not. He gets that car rolling back up to speed. Loses a lot of positions. Drops all the way back to 6th in that number 11K machine. And now the gap down to less than half a second for Jay Sparks, trying to redeem himself off the last time he was here, as he's right up to the rear bumper of Dalton England in front of him for the Fusion Engineering feature lead as they make their way back down to turns 1 and 2. Not enough that time, not close enough as Jay Sparks as they start to approach the lap traffic of Jimmy Guthrie. Guthrie running the same line as the 2 leaders. You can see where Guthrie goes. He's still holding that same line. He likes that middle groove. He's going to make this tough on the race leader. Sparks got loose over in turn 2. Lost some ground to the race leader. Dalton England now has himself clear by almost a second. Jay Sparks going to have to chase him back down as Jay Sparks really turning lap times. He's got him right in his sights. Maybe not that time. Lost a little bit of ground there. Still about a second back is that number 40 machine, but they're still approaching some more lap traffic. Time's running out, though, for Jay Sparks. And still that number 19E of Dalton England out in front. 0.8 of a second advantage. Jay Sparks needs something big here. He needs a big 3 and 4 to have a shot this time. He does, in fact, have it. He's going to be there within 0.6 of a second that time. 2 to go as Ruben Haslett pulls down to the infield for that number 19E. White flags in the air for Dalton England. Jay Sparks maybe not close enough. Half a second the separation. Jay Sparks really throws it in there to turn 1 and 2. Jay Sparks going to throw the big slider down there in turns 3 and 4. Gets up on the berm, misjudged it, and checker flags out for Dalton England, who takes home the Fusion Engineering feature here for the Mara Midgets at Coles County Speedway. And Dalton England put on one heck of a show out in front, taking the Fusion Engineering Mara Midget Racing feature tonight at Coles County Speedway. Jay Sparks just did not have enough finishes in second. Andy Bond then a 00 third. Chris Bow fourth. Michael Hermansky fifth. Charles Kuhn sixth. Jimmy Guthrie in seventh, 1 lap down. And then your non-finishers are Ruben Haslett, Dominic Bruns, Patrick Bruns, Tyler Roth, Patrick Ryan, and Alex Midkiff, the non-finishers on the Fusion Engineering Mara Midget feature tonight here at Coles County Speedway. And the top 5 going to go over the scales. Strecker trying to get that 19 of Dalton England placed on the scales. Had a little bit of issues getting that car up there. And it looks like he does in fact pass, and he's headed to victory lane. And I've also received word that not only does Dalton England win this race, he also wins the Owners' Championship for the Mara Midgets this season. Big congratulations to Dalton England for completing that tonight as he's climbing out of the race car. Let's give a big round of applause to your Fusion Engineering feature winner, Dalton England. So a big congratulations to all the feature winners tonight here at Coles County Speedway. We hope we put on a good show for you here at the racetrack tonight and those tuning in at home on WFO TV. If you can't make it to the track, make sure you do tune in on WFO TV every single week. And that will just about do it for tonight. We hope everybody here at the racetrack drives home safely. And until next time, we'll see you next week here at Coles County Speedway.